It's drywall day. I'm super excited. There's a lot to do. I'm ready to get started. The room's in great shape. It's all ready to go. Let's go. My name's Deric. This is my wife Jenya. We bought a fixer-upper. We're remodeling this house one day at a time, all while living in it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to get all the latest videos to track our progress. You'll find lots of how-to videos with step-by-step instructions to help you with your next do-it-yourself project. Welcome to the Rundown Reborn channel. All right, I've got this room ready. I've got all the vapor barrier up. I've got the sound bat insulation up. We've got everything prepped, ready to go. I've been waiting a long time to get this started. I don't mind doing drywall. It's instant gratification when you finish. I've done a little bit already. As you can see behind me here, I've already got a little bit done. I did this a little bit earlier. I need to clear a couple of sheets of drywall out of my way, and I also needed an area that I could just put everything in there and get it out of the way. I've got myself about 30 sheets of drywall, more than enough. So now I've got the rest of the room, about 3/4 of the room to go, and I'm going to get started on that. I'm going to walk us through this first piece. I'm going to tie a piece in here, and I need to cut around this outlet. Cutting around outlets is usually a tricky thing, but I've got a tip for you, a way to do that that's super easy and you won't mess it up. I need to get a new blade in this. I picked up this really slick Craftsman utility knife. No screwdriver needed. It has a little quick release here. Opens up the blade compartment. You store your blades inside there like that. So I've got a new blade here, and to change the blade, it's really slick. There's a little button here, and you just press that and it pulls right out. Take your new blade, slide that dude in, locks right in, and ready to go. The tools you need your pencil, tape measure, your knife, and a utility square. Sometimes you might need a speed square for small edges. But we're going to stick with this. My first cut's a length cut. I need 86 inches. I'm going to mark that out here at 86. I'm going to get my T-square. Place here. Then I've got my utility knife here. And I'm going to do a score cut right down the edge. I've got my first cut there. I'm going to take another deeper cut. And then one more. Just to dig a little deeper in it. And that piece is cut through. Not all the way through, but far enough that we can snap it. I'm going to lift this guy up here on its end. Alright, I've got my board up. So what I want to do is basically just bend that piece I scored like so. Then we come around here, cut the other side of the paper. And there it goes, released. Now one other tool you might need is one of these. It's a rasp. It looks like a cheese grater. So you can take that and run it right down that edge, and it takes off all the little nibbles and gives you a nice smooth edge. This is also really useful for taking off just a little bit to get a piece to fit just right. Alright, I've got this kind of slightly into position. I'm needing to make a notch there at one end and cut off where this window is. So I set it up here to get myself a really accurate in-place measurement. Alright, I've got this up against the wall. I've got my T-square here. I want to cut that right there at the edge of the window. Make my mark there for that cut. And I want to cut here at the sill. And do that across. Now I've got my line. I'm going to cut across here, cut up, cut across here, and cut up. There to the stair step there. So this I'm going to cut it just the same way just about, but I'm unable to go all the way through it. So I'm going to need to make an actual clean cut all the way through on the short run. And Then I'm going to cut all the way down and snap that piece off. Then do the same, cut this all the way through, and then do a snap cut along that one. I'm just going to score it, do a deep cut, and a second clear cut. Now in this case, I need to bring it off the drywall that I'm underneath so I can go all the way through. I don't want to cut the drywall underneath it. So I'm going to push my blade all the way through and just make a couple more passes with that knife and I'm through. Now I can do a snap cut, putting this across here, line that up, score cut, a deep cut, and a second clear pass. And that should be cut. Snap that baby off and cut through the other side of the paper. Now that's been cleared. Do the same with this one. First my score, deeper cut, and a clear pass. And try to cut through here. Just keep going down that until I'm all the way through it. There, I can snap this piece back, cut the paper off on the back, and we're clear. Now I'm checking here to see how we fit. I've got the piece back against the end wall, and just a little long here. And just a hair tight on this joint. It's basically my vertical joints are a little tight. I'm gonna get my rasp here and take some off of this and off of this surface edge. Taking just a bit, maybe like a millimeter. I want to check and see how that looks. All right, I got a pretty nice fit there. Everything seems to be right on the edge. Now I've got that outlet issue. I promise you a little secret on that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this sidewalk chalk. So I'm going to tilt it forward, keeping the bottom back against the wall. Tip this down. So right here on this outlet, I'm going to just scratch some chalk around the edge of these receptacles. Just scratching a little bit off, put a powder coat, or just like a little edge of chalk on all the edges here so I can find this. Something that will rub off in a minute. I've got that coated. And you can see some of that chalk on there. Now I'm going to tip this back up into position. Before I touch that outlet, I want to make sure it's in the right spot. Right there. I'm going to push that against the outlet, just straight against it. Now tip that back down. Now you'll see it's made some chalk impressions on the back of the sheet. Now what I'm going to do is set this outlet cover right there on top. I'm lining it right up with those chalks. And then I'm going to mark the edges, or the corners, little dots here. Now I know I don't want that cutout to be bigger than that rectangle. So now you can see we have those points marked here. And I know that my outlet's slightly smaller than that, so I'm going to come in a little bit from those, a bit, and And now I want to connect the dots. Just like that. I'm going to take my tape measure and just double check. I'm at about 2 3/8 by, double check that with my outlet here. 4 inches vertical, about 2 3/8 wide. Okay, so I have that outlet marked on the back of this board. Now I need a different tool. Now you could do this with a knife or a saw or something, but I find these are really easy. I bought the cheapest one they had at the store. It's been working fine. I don't use it every day. I mean, if I was a professional drywaller, I might buy the top of the line, but for the average do-it-yourselfer, this is more than enough. It's a rotary cutter. It's got a drywall cut bit in it, and they're really easy to use. Make it so much easier to cut holes. So, I'm gonna tip this up in a position. And turn this dude on, just like that. So what I'm gonna do is plunge into a corner and just carefully cut all the way around this edge. Now we have our hole. It's as easy as that. Get those corners nice and squared. It should fit just perfect. All right, I've got my piece back up here. Get that end in. See how we line up. Right on the money. Now to get that back, I'm gonna need to pop that outlet out. It's a hot outlet, so I'm gonna take a little care with that. All right, that's loose. Now let's work this into position. All right, as I get this into position, I've got some screws and a drill in the ready. I want to pull this outlet through the hole. It's got these tabs that have to be on the outside of the drywall. All right, I'm working that in to position as tight as I can. I'm going to go ahead and put a screw in to hold it in place. Maybe one more. All right, my panel's up, and my joints don't look too bad. There's a little gapping. I don't do this every day. If I was a professional drywall, I don't know, I'd probably be embarrassed. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. It's nothing a little mud can't patch up and close up. What I'm concerned about is it's back, and it's against, and it's tight, and in place, and I can move on to the next piece. I'm gonna go ahead and put a few more screws in this around the perimeter here where I know there's wood. For the screws, I'm using one of these countersink nipples. So basically what it is a screw bit with a collar on it. These are really handy to make sure you don't drill too deep. You don't want to put that screw all the way through your drywall. Keep it out on the surface. There we go. Put one above and below the outlet to hold that back tight against that outlet. Put one down here on this corner. Now the wall's secured. I'm gonna put a lot more screws in that, but first I want to do this. I'm gonna take my T-square here, put my edge right at the center of that stud. About right there. I'm gonna draw a line down that. Now I know where my stud is on the surface. Do the same here, wherever that screw is. And I think I've got one over here. Okay. I want to get that outlet back into position. Get the dust out of there. Outlet's back. I've got my cover plate here. Normally, in construction, you're not going to do this early. But I got 2 little kids running around the house. I don't want them messing with this, so I'm going to put this on here for safety reasons. Get that sealed up. There. Good as new. Wipe some of that chalk off I put on there. And that's ready. All right. So I'm going to put screws in here about every 8-10 inches or so. Maybe even like 12 to 16 inches down the center field area. Around the perimeter, about every 12 inches or so. Just enough to get it to hold on. Like so. Maybe one in between here. One in the middle here. Now this stud goes all the way to the floor, so I'm going to put one down here. And one more at the bottom. Buying screws, buy them in bulk. One there. And I'm going to put some at the bottom, wherever there's a stud. It really should just draw right up to the studs. Nice and tight. Missed. I don't have a stud there, that's why. That's where the old framing meets the new framing. That piece doesn't go all the way to the floor. And last one. There, that piece is up. We're going to cut a no one, set it right on top, and put one up at the ceiling. Span over across the top of the windows with that one. Then we'll go continue around the corner, head that way. I'm not going to walk you through that step by step. We'll switch over to time lapse. that drywall's knocked out, gosh, I'm really happy with this room. We're all good to go. Really, the next thing I need to do is put some of this mesh tape up. So this stuff's basically some nylon mesh. You unroll it and you just stick it across these joints wherever you need it. And up through the corners, anywhere where two pieces of drywall meet together, you want to put that stuff in there. That's my next step. I'm going to go ahead and put that mesh tape up everywhere I need it, and then I'll be ready to start mudding. Some people call it spackle, some people call it cement, whatever. It's just the mud. Put that up, cover all the screw holes, cover all the joints, get it nice and smooth, and it's ready for paint. So as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn off those notifications so you can know when the next video is up and running. And thanks for watching. Appreciate you stopping by.